Hey everyone, it's Rachel here, Oracle Spiritual Healer and Teacher. And today I want to do something or look at something a little different. I've been sort of fascinated by what's happening in the lower court of Manhattan, the uh, um, the legal case that's taking place there. In the sense of it's a really perfect representation of the sort of bigger energetic thing that's taking place. And that the defendant on trial and the accusations that are there are representing the distorted masculine. It is the objectification of the feminine or the objectification of another. It is the domination, the overpowering, the violence, um, the lies, the greed, the heightened uh, sense of self, the ego, um, the sort of, overextended, the inflated ego. Um, it's sort of misdirection of someone's energy. And so, what's taking place in that case is we're seeing the distorted masculine right there on a plate and all these aspects of the distorted masculine. And it's being brought up, it's being made visible, very clearly visible, in all the facets of that distortion. And it's a perfect representation of what's been happening for thousands of years, not decades, not centuries, for thousands of years. Using power as a way, manipulation as a way, force as a way, violence as a way to get ahead. And all of that is what's coming to an end. All of that is what's being healed. Now, this isn't just when we talk about the masculine, we're not talking about men specifically. Men carry more masculine energy, but this can be expressed in women too. And I'm sure you can think of women who are expressing more of their masculine and then maybe more of their distorted masculine energy. But I'm talking about on this collective scale. The distorted masculine energy is finding its way into health and healing. At the same time, the feminine is finding its way out of objectifying itself, victimization, um, violence, having violence afflicted on, sort of the other side of it. It's the feminine's finding its way out of it. It's finding its voice. It's finding its power. It's finding its self-respect. It's validating itself. And so it's just really sad to see and hear these stories. And there are so many stories that exist like this. Again, for thousands of years, that there's, again, this turning of the tide. Turning of the tide. Both sides are being healed, but that what the healing looks like is different, right? From that distorted masculine and the distorted feminine, which is that not having boundaries, not having self-love. That's distorted feminine. No boundaries, no self-love. And that's how it's expressed. That's how it's expressed. Again, violence, accepting violence, physical and emotional. Yeah. Accepting that sort of treatment. All of that is the distorted feminine. So we're seeing it in real time, on TV, on the internet, being healed. The wrongs trying to be righted. Um, and I do see that happening more and more. This is an example that's taking place right now. There'll be more examples as time goes on, more being shown for us all to see it clearly. And what's happening is more and more people are feeling okay, safe to come forward, right? That they're feeling like there's maybe someone or people that are willing to hear and receive them and keep them safe, which is the healthy masculine. The divine masculine protects women and children. The divine masculine can hold space for the feminine and all the emotions and the creativity and all that wild energy, because that's the feminine. That's the creative energy is the feminine. So the masculine in its healthy version can hold space for all that creative life force energy. It protects it and is inspired into action because of it. So so I'm going to pull some cards around it. I'm using my Sedona deck for that. And just to see what else wants to come in around this. And I was inspired to do this video because I don't want to necessarily focus on any of the details of what's happening in the lower court of Manhattan, but to focus on the bigger energy that's present and the bigger healing that's taking place, and how it's just such a, in my mind at least, a perfect example of what's happening on this larger scale and will continue to happen. Yeah, there's the purification. There's the water being purified, all of it. They're saying also thinking about how you can see through the water. It's like you're seeing it clearly. People are seeing the situation clearly now. More so. Yep, there's the self-respect. What do I deserve? That's shifting, because when we don't have when our self-esteem is not high, things like we allow ourselves to be taken advantage of. We allow ourselves to have something that's less than maybe what other people get. It's basically comes to, again, self-love. We don't love ourselves enough to say no or to say yes to something we do deserve. Guardians. What's that about? So the Guardians card. Okay, give me 1 second, because they're saying how this is sort of being cleared up ancestrally too. It's being watched by our ancestors that have also sort of gone through the same karmic patterns. That for those souls that justice wasn't served, right? That, they were raped and the person who raped them, was believed, their story was believed, and they were set free while they were sort of condemned. That as an example. But it's like there's so much energy, like almost like our spirit guides are with us on this sort of path, on this sort of mission to bring light and healing to this. There's just a lot of like support and backing there with it. Oop, one popped out. Passion. Yeah, and this has to do with, again, the support, being fired up about getting this truth out, about justice being served, because there's going to be more victims that are going to come up. not just with this case, with other cases. Um, and it's that passion to bring the truth forward, to bring justice, for justice to be served. Um, yes, and for, yeah, the discernment. Okay, this has to do with, firstly, what they're saying are, there'll be sort of foul people saying something happened and didn't happen, unfortunately. They're seeking some sort of compensation. They're trying to like jump on the bandwagon. But then there's actually the victims. So it's to be discerning about, the information that's coming through, how things are being painted. Um, yeah. Okay, there's something else there. Let me see what that's about. There are going to be some people who paint themselves as a victim, but they're also sort of just as guilty. Not that they weren't a victim, but they were also guilty at the same time. So it's like when the victim then becomes the abuser, that sort of thing. And yeah, it's that sort of thing. So again, just really being discerning with the information that's going to be coming up, not just around this case, but the other cases that will be coming through, about everything that's taking place. Two more cards they're saying around this. Yeah. The other thing that, right before I pulled that card, the open heart card, the other thing they're saying is not to condemn someone. And we have to be careful of that, because someone can seem like the most horrible person that's just full of hate, or darkness, and it's wounding. That's what it is. It's their wounding. It's their own trauma that we're seeing, that our hearts close towards them. And it's important for our own soul, our own sort of spiritual karmic development, that we have healthy boundaries, but that we don't condemn that person, that we don't want harm to come to that person, that we don't turn them into something even more. Because it's sort of like, if we say someone's the devil, well, that's what they become. They become the devil then. So it's important that again, that's part of that discernment. We are discerning. We have boundaries. We don't close off our hearts. But we, it's like we have wisdom. We have wisdom. Yeah. Yeah. There's that grace. There's that grace. Yeah. All right. So hope that was helpful. Please consider subscribing, liking the video. It is helpful for people who create content for others, to start to build that up, so it becomes a sustainable endeavor. And that, I do this because also I feel this need to share with people, to help, because that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help. So thanks for watching. I'll see you some other time.